Hello, everybody. As you can see, nice, a little bit better setup. And welcome to the Pony Box Podcast. My name is Kirk Hardiman, but you already know that. Um, well, today watched the Canadian woman and the U.S. women's teams face off. And I'll just say this, that Canadian team looks very slow against this U.S. team. They looked like it was not. It was a track race for the U.S. And the Canadian women's team looked old and they looked slow. And if they face off again, it's going to be probably the same result, which they are going to face off again because it usually does happen. Not too much to really say about that. I've already said what I really need to say. Super Bowl. That Seahawks defense, and I said it in my prediction, that Seahawks defense was going to destroy the Patriots offense and make them look safe. Now, yes, Patriots defense did well enough to try and keep themselves in the game, but that defense of Seattle made New England look silly. And it was also actually a pretty funny joke that I found. Well, not joke, but a pretty funny stat. Bad Bunny had 124 yards during his halftime performance in 15 minutes. The Patriots only had 74 rushing yards the entire game. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. I mean, that was Seattle, who I knew would win this game, showing dominance on defense. The offense did enough. They trusted their defense enough. And that's all you can say. There wasn't. It was a defensive game, and it was a fantastic defensive game. Offense, not much to show for it for New England. Main topic. As you can see behind me, there's the Crosby and McDavid jerseys, as we're coming up very close to the men's team. And very interestingly enough, the lines at their first practice were available. It has McDavid and Celebrini with Tom Wilson. Yes, I guess Tom Wilson's job is going to be opening up McDavid and Celebrini. Crosby is centering his own line, which makes sense. And it's actually Nick Suzuki. I love watching. Actually, sometimes I actually love watching Montreal play if the Leafs aren't playing that night. And Nick Suzuki is a star on Montreal, along with Cole Caulfield. And I am very happy with what the Canada team is doing. Besides in net. Now, when it comes to the goaltender, we don't actually know. Well, I think we actually do know who's going to be starting in net for Canada. Sorry, I'm looking up some stuff. Starting in net for Team Canada, I think that's Jordan Binnington. But I kind of hope that somebody else gets to start, because I don't necessarily like Jordan Binnington, and a lot of Canadian fans don't necessarily like him either. He has not done well this year. I mean, yes, he helped Canada win the Four Nations tournament, but that was a glorified tournament by the NHL because they weren't sure if they were going to the Olympics. They weren't sure if they were going to the Olympics until like a couple months ago when they finally looked at the ice in Italy and said, okay, that's good enough for us, we'll go. By the way, the ice has done a fantastic job. I've heard no complaints. The only complaints I've heard about the Olympics are, uh, the Vice President of the United States being a egomaniac and and costing costing the U.S. a gold medal in figure skating. Good job, absolute great job. And also ice. Actually, I'm not going to say anything about ice. I can't. Because if I do, then yeah, that's not a good thing for me, and my video will get taken down. Yes, if you notice that this eye, I'm a bit tired, and this eye just wants to wander off, so sometimes I have to go like this just to make sure the eye is in kind of working shape. Anyways, well, I mean, there's JD Vance, that whole fiasco, and there was at the start of the women's hockey tournament, there was a stomach flu going around, which postponed a couple of games. Especially Canada has one more game left in women's hockey, but it's a rescheduled game because there was a stomach virus that ravaged the team that they were supposed to face. They actually got better. They played their games, so it's not going to really determine too much because Canada's number 2 in their pool, and they're probably going to be number 2. Well, unless they lose, then they'll be number 3. They're already going to the next round, anyways. And it's going to be probably Canada and USA again, but I think we all know that. It's always been Canada, USA, except one Olympics, but we know how that turned out. Canada and Sweden, and Canada whooped Sweden's ass in women's hockey. Not recently, though. Canada has not done very well when it comes to international competition when it comes to facing the U.S. U.S. has been pretty damn dominant, and U.S. has a fantastic system. They've started bringing in the younger talent, and Canada is always dependent on the same talent that is getting older and older, and it's not looking good. They need to. It's just the same thing as like the juniors. They need to learn how to have a better time developing players. Because you look at the American system, and they're doing a fantastic job. I've never liked the college system in the States. Still not so much like them, but it's a better system than what we have. And it's pretty sad. But anyways, back on to the Canadian men's team. It's looking pretty good. I don't see Logan Thompson starting the game because there's politics, as there usually is with Canadian hockey. There's politics involved. Logan Thompson is not well liked by a couple of assistant coaches who were with Vegas. And there's a reason why he was left off the Four Nations team, which is sad. He's a fantastic goaltender. He's better out of the 3 goaltenders that we have in the tournament. But because of politics, it's not going to happen. He's not going to start. Nope, it's going to be Jordan Binnington. Jordan Binnington has not been good for St. Louis, and there's a reason why St. Louis is looking into rebuilding, retooling. So let's see here. Binnington this year is 8-17-6. I don't care about too much about goals against average because that's just a very dumb stat. in a save percentage of 864, which is his lowest in any regular season ever. He hasn't had a save percentage. Actually, his past two seasons, his save percentages over his career are 927, 912, 910, 901, 894, 913, 900, and 864. Yikes. And his goals against average hasn't really been that great either. 189, 256, 265, and then his past few seasons, and then he had a 2-season stretch of 313, 331, and he had 284, a 269, and this year's a 365. He's going to be your starting goaltender for Canada? Sure. Okay. Who's the other guy? Who's the other guys? Oh yeah, Darcy Kemper. I don't know if I spelled that name right on my phone. But I think I don't think he's been too much better. Oh, he's better than Bennington, but not much better. 14, 11, and 9 with a 900 save percentage. Let's take a look at a younger, because Kemper's 35, Bennington is 32. Logan Thompson. He should be your future goaltender for the next, like this Olympics, he should be. The next Olympics, he should be, because he'll only be 32 years of age. So he should be the next two Olympics, he should have your goaltender. This year, he is 19-16-4, a 245 goals against average, and a 912 save percentage. Is that better stats than the other two guys? Oh, yeah. And his career has been going a lot better than Bennington. Kipper has been kind of like an up and down. He's good some years, bad some years. That's the same as Jordan Bennington. But Logan Thompson, in his career, I don't know why Vegas got rid of him, because of politics, and Vegas is very ruthless. His save percentages are 914, 915, 908, 910, 912. His career right now, save percentage is 912. I'll take that as I'll take that as my starting goaltender, better than Reeves goaltenders in the past. And goals against average 268, 265, 270. And then he goes to Washington last year and has a 31-6-6 record and a 249 goals against average, which is fantastic. He'll win. That's how he won 31 games. He was unbelievable. Gets left off the Six Nations, whatever the hell you want to call it. He was a better goaltender out of all the Canadian goaltenders. And this year, he actually has a lower goals against average at 245 and a higher save percentage of 912. Washington is just a bad club. They're a middling club, but it's not because of their goaltending. It's not because of Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson has been actually very good. So do that once you will, because Logan Thompson's had a very interesting path to the NHL. He played for the Brandon Reed Kings in WHL. He actually played for Brock University for 1 year. He was undrafted. And he was signed by the Vegas Golden Knights as an undrafted free agent. He ended up playing for, before being signed, he was an ECHL goaltender with the Adirondack Thunder. Played one game in the AHL with the Birmingham Devils, or Binghamton Devils. Then went to South Carolina, played for the Stingrays in the ECHL. Then played one game for Vegas and went down to Henderson. But a few years there. Then he got his call up with Vegas. Played fantastic for Vegas as their backup to Adin Hill. And then gets traded to Washington because Thompson felt like he should have been a starting goaltender. And he is a starting goaltender now. He's been fantastic. So I think Washington fans are happy with Mr. Logan Thompson. And yes, he should be the starting goaltender for Canada, but he won't be because of politics. Politics, it's annoying when it comes to Canadian hockey with politics, and I think we're starting to get annoyed with it. We want our best team, we want our best players playing, and I feel like Logan Thompson is our best player over Bennington and Kemper. But Thompson's not going to play. Everybody does have Canada as a favorite, but hockey's it's getting better around the world, and yeah, hockey's getting better around the world, and Canada, to me, feels like they're starting to fall behind a little bit because they feel like their old way still works, and it doesn't. It doesn't work so much anymore. It's a faster game. They're still hitting, but it's a faster game, especially in international play. It's a way faster game, and that's where I feel like we're starting to fall behind a little bit. So, one last topic because I'm not gonna make this like too long because I do have a special one coming up this weekend. You'll see it when it gets released. One more topic we get to talk about: baseball. Pitchers and catchers have reported to spring training today, and some of the players have also reported to spring training to get ready for. Well, for some of the players, it'll be getting ready for the World Baseball Classic, which is going to be fun to watch, but also getting ready for the regular season. And there are still a few players that are unsigned. And this is a big problem, especially when there's going to be a new CBA coming in so the CBA ends in December, and it's looking like it's going to be it looks like it's going to be very interesting because it looks like the players don't want a salary cap, but they want a salary floor. The owners want a salary cap, but they don't want a salary floor. I think you have to compromise to a point where I don't think a salary cap is an issue. I think a salary floor is an issue because you got a lot of these owners that just don't want to spend any money whatsoever. They don't like spending money. We have guys like Jordan Montgomery. Well, Jordan Montgomery's not that good. Chris Bassett's still available. Miles Michaelis is still available. Max Scherzer is still available. You have actually a lot of MLB players who are still, like a lot of good MLB players who are still available. Luis Rengifo still available. Evan Phillips is still available. Michael Kopech is still available. You have guys who are still. This guy is somehow still available. Andrew McCutchen, which I would have thought that he would have been back in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh the other day signed Marcell Ozuna and pretty much has almost said, okay, hey, Andrew McCutchen, shoot, we don't want you anymore. That guy's a freaking Pirates lifer, if you think about it. And you're just gonna go, nah, we don't want him anymore. Ty France, Shelby Miller. There's still some guys available that teams will sign. And be like, yeah, we could use them. We could easily use them. Like, honestly, Bassett, a team's gonna look at Bassett and be like, hey, we could use you for a rotation. But nobody wants to do that because nobody wants to spend the money that he's asking for. And that's also kind of another. So, Justin Verlander signs today. 41, 42-year-old guy who didn't look good with San Francisco, but is still, like, his name is the thing that brings his money. He signs $13 million. 11 of it is deferred for 1 year. That's what's going to cause the CBA to expire, and there's going to be a lockout. There's too many deferred contracts. Teams are taking advantage of it, and it's getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point now where you have pretty much 10 Dodgers players who are going to be making money after they're done playing. The last time a team did that, it was the Arizona Diamondbacks, when they had like Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling for those 3 years, from 2001 to 2003, they had so much deferred deferred money, that it made them almost go bankrupt. And the owner had to sell the team because it was too much money to be deferred that they had to pay. He had to sell the team because of the amount of money that they had deferred. So I think having this much money deferred is going to kill a team at some point. Dodgers have enough money because they have a huge fan base in Japan that will come to Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium is always filled every night. So I think the Dodgers are fine, but they have to be careful. This deferred contracts, it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone very soon, a lot sooner than you think, and it's kind of a good thing because it's kind of ruining baseball. It is ruining baseball big time, and I think it needs to be gone. But in that instance, I think you need to have a cap for. There is technically a salary cap, but it's like a luxury tax, and it's like if you get over to a certain threshold, then you have to pay. If you're over that threshold in the first year, you have to pay a certain percentage. If you're over it again and again and again, you pay higher and higher percentages. But there are teams in baseball that don't spend any money whatsoever, and they're cheap. Like, I was actually surprised that Pittsburgh signed Marcell Ozuna. Well, it's a 1-year contract, and you know what's going to happen? There's going to be bonuses on it, and as soon as he's about to reach a bonus, Pittsburgh's going to probably go like, we're going to release you or trade you. Because that's happened in the past. Because Pittsburgh just does, there's owners that just don't want to pay. They just don't want to spend money. They're worried about making money, but the problem is you have to spend money to make money. And you're going to have a guy like Paul Skeens, who Pittsburgh is going to Pittsburgh's going to have to trade away. Or Pittsburgh will trade away because they're not going to spend the money on it. And the owner has a little lapdog as a GM who doesn't like spending money. The owner has told him, hey, don't spend money. I want to keep the money that I have. Don't spend it. So if that's the case, sell the fucking team to an owner that will actually spend money. But I'm a Toronto fan, and Toronto is competitive, and we're trying to spend money. But there's one contract that's looking real bad now. Santander, it was announced that he is going in for surgery and will be out for the next 5 to 6 months. That contract looks horrible now. So I can see Toronto probably going, we have to find a way to get rid of this contract. Find a way to get rid of this contract and maybe spend that money a little bit elsewhere. Like maybe on the bullpen. But anyways, that's the end of the podcast. And like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you probably first day after the Canada-Czech game. I hope you're enjoying this. Please comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time.